So you've been hearing a lot about AI agents lately, and you want to cut through the hype.
Yeah,
I get it. AI agents are one of those buzzwords that are absolutely everywhere right now.
right.
It's hard to know what's real and what's still science fiction. But that's why you're here with us for this deep dive, because you sent in this really interesting article from Every titled, "What are AI agents and who profits from them?"
It's funny you should mention that because what's really fascinating about this whole area is that we're not just talking about some incremental improvements to existing tech.
Mm.
AI agents have the potential to completely change how we interact with technology.
It really does feel like we could be on the edge of a technological revolution, doesn't it?
It really does. And with like billions of dollars being poured into this research and development, the stakes are incredibly high.
Absolutely. So to kick things off, can you explain what an AI agent actually IS? I feel like a lot of people are using this term, but I'm not sure everyone fully grasps the concept.
Yeah. It can be a little confusing because AI agents build on technology we're already familiar with. The simplest way to understand it is to imagine needing some information.
Yeah, okay.
Let's say you want to know if you should bring an umbrella tomorrow.
Okay.
A typical AI, like the voice assistants we use now, would give you a direct answer based on the data it has access to. It might tell you the chance of rain,
Great.
but an AI agent takes things a step further. It acts more like your own personal researcher.
So instead of just spitting out a percentage, it would actually plan out how to get the information, kind of like a real assistant would.
Exactly. It might check a weather app or website, consider your location, and then report back not just with the forecast, but with a recommendation. So it might say, it's going to rain tomorrow, you should bring an umbrella, rather than just giving you the raw data.
Okay, I see the difference. It's not just one input and one output. It's like a whole sequence of actions the AI agent can take.
Exactly. The article calls it an agentic workflow, and this is what makes AI agents potentially so much more powerful than current AI, because instead of just giving you information, they can actually start doing things in the real world based on your instructions and their own analysis.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about having smarter AI, it's about giving that AI the ability to interact with the world in more complex ways. No wonder there's so much excitement and investment in this field.
Yeah, and the competition is fierce because building an AI agent that can actually do all of that reliably, I mean, it's incredibly complex.
The article compared it to the early days of personal computing, like Apple versus IBM. Back then, it wasn't just about having the technology, it was about putting it all together in a way that actually worked for people. And it sounds like we're at a similar stage with AI agents.
That's a great analogy. And just like in those early days of personal computing, there are a lot of different approaches being taken. But the article does a good job of kind of breaking down the key challenges by outlining 5 essential components of any AI agent.
Oh, that part was really interesting. So let's dig into these 5 components because I think they're key to understanding just how complex this technology really is and why it's so difficult to get right.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So first and foremost, you have the data inputs. This is where the AI agent gets all of its information. The article makes a really good point about how the quality and scope of this data are crucial. It's like giving the AI a bigger, better library to learn from.
Right, like an AI agent that could access all of Wikipedia versus one that only has access to a dictionary. It's a huge difference.
Exactly. Now imagine if that AI agent could access not just public information, but also your personal notes, your browsing history, or even a company's entire internal knowledge base. That's where things get really powerful.
Okay, so data inputs are all about where the AI gets its information. What about the brains of the operation, the actual intelligence behind it all?
Right, that's where the models come in. These are the algorithms that actually process the information and make decisions. And this is a huge area of research and development right now. Some companies are focused on building models with raw processing power, while others are taking a more specialized approach, trying to create AI that excels in a specific area like language processing or problem solving.
It's like deciding whether you want your AI to be a generalist or a specialist.
Exactly. And just like in the human world, there are trade-offs to both approaches. A generalist might be more adaptable, while a specialist can be incredibly good at one particular thing.
This is fascinating. So we've got the data, the brains, but how do we actually get these AI agents to do anything in the real world? The article mentioned something about giving them tools.
Yes, tools are what allow AI agents to interact with the digital world and carry out tasks. Think of it like giving the AI special abilities.
So instead of just thinking about a problem, the AI agent can actually use tools to solve it.
Exactly. And the more tools an AI has access to, the more it can potentially do. A simple example would be giving an AI agent access to a calculator tool if you needed to help with, like, financial analysis.
Okay, that makes sense. But the article mentioned some even wilder tools. Like, wasn't there something about an AI agent that could actually control a computer mouse?
You're thinking of OpenAI's code interpreter. It's a really fascinating example of how AI agents can interact with digital environments. This tool can automate certain finance tasks by literally interacting with spreadsheets, like inputting data, creating formulas, and generating reports, all without any human intervention.
Okay, that's both incredibly impressive and a little unnerving. So we've got the data, the models, the tools. But what about us? How do we actually interact with these AI agents?
That's where the interface comes in. This is all about the user experience. How do you, as a human, communicate with the AI agent, give it instructions, and receive information back?
Right, because it doesn't matter how smart an AI is if we can't actually use it.
Exactly. Will it be a separate app that you have to open? Will it be integrated into existing tools like Excel or your web browser? Or will it be something completely new that we haven't even thought of yet?
It's like we're designing the dashboards of the future, but for something like way more powerful than your car.
And that brings us to the final component. The article highlights the AI glue. This is kind of the unsung hero of the AI agent world and arguably the most challenging aspect.
So this is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Yeah,
Taking all those individual pieces, the data, the models, the tools, the interface, and making them work together seamlessly.
precisely.
Yeah.
You can have the most powerful AI in the world, but if you can't connect it to the right data, give it the right tools, and make it easy for people to use, well, it's not going to be very useful. The AI glue is all about the engineering and design challenges of making these systems actually work in the real world.
This is starting to feel like a huge undertaking, even for the biggest tech companies. So given all these challenges, who's actually making headway in the race to build AI agents?
Well, as you can imagine, everyone's trying to figure it out. But the article does a good job of kind of categorizing the main players. It talks
Yeah.
about these model-first startups, which are basically the big players pouring billions of dollars into building the most powerful AI imaginable. We're talking companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, Adept.
Mm.
They're all laser-focused on pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
It's like a brainpower arms race to build the smartest AI on the planet.
Yeah,
But then there's another approach the article talked about, right? Something about workflow applications.
that's right. Those companies aren't trying to build the ultimate AI from scratch. Instead, they're focusing on specific tasks or industries and figuring out how to apply existing AI models to solve very specific problems.
So they're saying, hey, someone else is already building the powerful engine. Let's just figure out how to build an incredible car around it.
Exactly. And the article gave some great examples like Harvey, which is being used to automate tasks in the legal profession, or Cognition Labs, which is doing some fascinating things with AI for software engineering.
This is all incredibly cool. But I have to ask the question that's probably on everyone's mind right now. What does all this actually mean for us? Are AI agents going to change our daily lives, or is this just a lot of hype?
It's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Hmm.
I think it's important to acknowledge that the technology is still very much in development. We're not all going to have robot butlers tomorrow.
Oh, how cool would that be?
Right. Sign me up. But while we're not there yet, I do think it's important to pay attention to this technology because it has the potential to be truly revolutionary. Think about all the tasks we do every day that could be automated or streamlined with the help of a really good AI assistant.
The article gave some pretty compelling examples, things like scheduling meetings, taking notes, doing research, even writing code.
Exactly. Imagine if you had an AI agent that could handle all those tedious, time-consuming tasks, freeing you up to focus on the things you're actually good at, or the things you actually enjoy.
It's like having a team of super efficient interns working for you 24/7, but without the need for coffee breaks. But even if today's AI agents seem a bit limited, the technology is evolving incredibly fast. I was blown away by the article's point about compounding improvement curves in AI.
Yeah. It's one of the most exciting and perhaps even unnerving aspects of this technology. The rate of progress is unlike anything we've ever seen before. What seems impossible today could be commonplace in just a few years. And the article mentions some early reports suggesting GPT-5, the next generation of OpenAI's language model, is already significantly more powerful than its predecessor, GPT-4, and that it's specifically designed with AI agents in mind.
So the pace of innovation is just staggering. And that brings us to what I found to be the most thought-provoking part of the article, the scaling hypothesis.
Ah, yes. The idea that simply making these AI models bigger and more complex might be enough to lead to a kind of artificial general intelligence, an AI that can think and learn on a level comparable to humans.
It's a mind-blowing concept. If we're on the path to creating AI that can think for itself, what does that mean for the future of work creativity, even what it means to be human?
Those are profound questions, and there are no easy answers. But I think the key takeaway here is that the future of AI is not predetermined. It's a future that we are all actively shaping through the choices we make today.
This deep dive has certainly given us a lot to think about. It feels like we're just at the beginning of an incredible journey and maybe a little bit of a roller coaster ride as this technology continues to develop.
Absolutely.
A huge thank you to you for joining us for this deep dive into the world of AI agents, and to you, our listeners, for sending in this incredibly fascinating article. We'll be keeping a close eye on this space, and we encourage you to do the same. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking the big questions.